No.
We're live. We are live.
Are
We
we
are
live?
live, baby. Welcome to the Put in the Book show. We're back after a few weeks of the Mets not playing any baseball. But we did have to detox a little bit. We talked about some of the worst players in Mets history. Then we took a week off, and then stuff started happening. So got to get back out there and start talking about what's going on right now, what's going to be happening in the offseason, our thoughts, who should stay, who should go. But we'll get to that in just a moment. First, as always, I am Steve. I got Keith over here to my left. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going. Been a while, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome.
He looks like a scary pumpkin.
Welcome.
It's a pumpkin.
Ooh.
Oh, a little singing from the
wow.
singing in the background. This is
Joe.
what I'm talking about.
Producer Joe Crooner.
This is fun. This is fun stuff. And Rodriguez, right down there. What's up, man? How's it going? How's it hanging? How's it looking?
It's looking pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Hanging to the left. How is did you? I noticed that you have a little change of scenery. But did you?
I'm in the
did
void.
did you bring him?
Oh, he's right here. He's right here.
Okay. So
He knows. He's always around.
I don't follow baseball.
See?
Keith is floating.
That's what I
He's
get
in
now.
space.
That's what I
He's
get.
in space with William Shatner.
Oh my
But by the way, guys, with
on,
all
that was
these
cool.
the breaking news stuff. No, it was great. I loved it. But the breaking news thing, it's like breaking news, and then it mentions his name, and I'm like, okay, he's in space.
Oh. You thought he
It
died,
gets
huh?
scary at us,
He
a
died,
certain
yeah.
age, and
Well,
it gets a little
he's
scary
there.
when there's
He's there.
like, don't send me no breaking news about Betty White. I need Betty White is still alive, but breaking news, she's going to be on this new show. That's what I need.
You guys like my live on-air
Lieutenant
camera
Faithful?
adjustment situation?
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
Yeah,
You're
it looks,
floating out there.
fantastic.
All that stuff is going on here.
A little
I
less
just knocked the
power
shit out of
to
my
that.
mic. And he's gone.
Really.
No, I'm still here. I'm just fixing the camera.
Oh, he's fixing the
Make
camera.
everybody dizzy.
I
Yeah.
didn't do it.
All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. And let's get to it. Mr. Producer Joe, let's get this party started.
Put up the books!
All right, everybody, welcome back in. And let's get right on to it. So the first thing that we got to talk about real quick, because it happened a couple weeks ago before we came back here, was Mr. Rojas being terminated of his duties. Good, bad, indifferent, ugly, whatever. Keith, what do you think about it? Did he deserve it, or is he just the scapegoat for an awful season?
A little bit of both. I think it was a scapegoat. But, there were some decisions that were questionable and obvious lack of experience were involved in some of those decisions you see during the season, specifically mentioning some of the pitching decisions he made. I think he deserved another chance, but I'm not mad that they did that.
Mr. Rodriguez, and the happiest guy on the planet is Terzio, not because of anything going on with the ex-wife, but because Rojas is gone. Rodriguez, what are your thoughts on here?
He ends up being a scapegoat because he's the guy that they can just blame it on, let him have his say, okay, inexperienced manager, blah blah blah. I think the guy's a good manager. Honestly, I think he's a pretty good manager. However, we need an older manager, in my opinion. I think we need some really well-established manager that's gonna come, and some people they're gonna know he's the boss, and they're gonna have to accept it. Rojas, I don't think he was that guy. I think they respected him and they liked him, but I don't think he's a Buck Showalter. He's not that guy that's coming in and as a drill sergeant and it's just gonna make sure these young kids perform. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously over the last couple of years, what you witness in the collapses and decision making, a change is needed. And that's just what it comes down to. But like you said, Rodriguez, I feel bad. I wish he can get another shot, even if it's within the organization under another role, because I really do like the kid. I like his pedigree, but it is what it is.
So, bring back TC, producer Joe. I think he's had enough. I think he's had enough with all this stuff. He doesn't want to deal with all these
poor guy.
these headaches out there.
Give him some peace.
Yeah, but, he did go through a very rough stretch. But it was inevitable that the team set the record for most amount of days in first place and then wind up under 500 for the year. And you had the new owner come in, new president of baseball operations, and this is just not their guy. So you give him a chance, and this is typically what happens in when
he had to win the division
when a team gets sold.
Job.
Had to take advantage of a very weak division to keep his job, and just kind of fell apart. Yeah. Tommy Gray, that's an interesting comment. I don't know if it's something went wrong on Facebook. I wouldn't be surprised. You can't hire a brand new manager and expect him to be Buck Showalter. That's insane. Agreed? Yeah. It can't happen right off the bat. And Bohan, we've had our back and forth about this guy. I've never been in favor of firing him, as we've talked about, but I understand it. And so he goes. The rest of the coaching staff is basically told, go ahead and get another job if you can find one, except for Jeremy Hefner. And so back down to you, Rodriguez. Is Hefner truly the only guy that you think deserves to stick around? I think he did a fair job with that pitching rotation and especially the bullpen, right?
I think he did a fantastic job with the bullpen. I think Aaron Loop never pitched better. Has he? I mean, DeGrom was pitching very well until the injuries. I mean, he kept that staff together. He kept the Mets in first place for a long time by keeping that pitching staff going. Yaiwan Walker, our guy, came back from a season where he didn't pitch that much, came back and pitched well. He did okay. The big man, Marcus Stroman. I mean, Jesus Christ. He had like 32 starts of, what was it, under 350 ERA or something like that. I mean, he was very good this year. So he did a really good job. But everyone else can really, really go for sure. Rojas, I feel bad. But everybody else, they're gone. They didn't improve the team at all.
You can argue Strahan was top 10, maybe 15 in the league this year.
With a good offense behind him, Keith, what do you think he would have? He would have won 15 games easy.
Plus, definitely, he would have had a good, solid like Ron Darling, 80s or mid 80s type of season.
Exactly, a number two, perfect.
That's what he was. He was Mr. Number 2. Pat says the medical and training staff needs help. This has been an ongoing issue for us, right? Year after year.
I thought we got rid of them. I thought we got rid of those guys.
I thought we did too. And Rojas was going into the job. Listen, I have no doubt in my mind that Rojas could become a very, very effective manager, probably somewhere else, unless he does what he was offered. Maybe stay within the organization for whatever, and then he becomes a manager down the road. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I just do know that he's gone, and typically when folks are gone from the Mets, they do well. They do well after that. And Producer Joe, very upset about Ricky Bones.
He is.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
Everybody in the chat, I'm curious. Who do you guys think we should hire? Who do you guys think we should hire as manager? Drop it in the chat.
Well, so obviously we need a manager, and first things first is to find a president of baseball operations.
I'll do that too.
But you got it? Okay.
Got it covered.
We share the salary. Can we all take part of this?
You could be my underlings, my minions.
I will be. Listen, I will be a minion to you if it means working in the New York Mets organization. I'm in.
And so you shall be.
All right, so we have Theo, who after a meeting there was, I don't want to be Rodriguez's underwear.
What?
That's producer Joe.
Alrighty then.
Off the rails. So Theo is not a fit. You got Billy Bean, who today withdrew his name from consideration. And then you got
Tom Melvin's never gonna get this job, Dominic.
It's never working. It's not out. It's nothing. No roads are leading this way.
So, have we heard any details on Epstein not being a fit, or were we just told he's not a fit? Because how is he not a fit? I mean, I can theorize many ways. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm just saying why has nobody
pictures and videos again?
Imagine.
You never know. I mean,
and we did the right thing this time.
or it could just be like I think Rodriguez, you had mentioned once before, like he brings a team this high and then they go that low right afterwards. So maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Maybe Cohen wanted a hefty Eddie. Maybe he wanted a big commitment. Maybe he wanted him, to Rodriguez's point, who's been saying, he comes in and he just walks out. Maybe Cohen said, I want you here at least 7 years. You can't go anywhere for 7 years.
Right. Maybe,
because I want this to be sustained. I want this to take us forward. You can leave, and then the other guy just jumps in, and we're smooth sailing. That's the way I want it.
And,
but he
the
becomes Sandy, that, right?
When he would after next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think Sandy's next year, and then after that, Sandy's out. But
so
and the opposite,
boss.
He would be, yeah. But on the opposite side of that, right? I also appreciate the fact that we don't know, because in the past, the Mets' ability to keep secrets and internal things have been miserable. So the fact that we don't know shows there is some improvement within the organization on how they handle their business. So that is also a good sign. Although I'm used to all the leaks and nonsense, I kind of want to know.
Right? we want that happy medium. I think the big
please.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. So David Stearns was denied permission by the Brewers to even interview for the job. The guy grew up a Mets fan. It seemed almost like, oh, this is his job. And then 4 straight years of the Brewers going to the playoffs. When, if you remember from early in the decade, it was Brewers 1 year would have 93 victories, and then the next year they wind up with 78 victories, and back and forth and back and forth.
I'll take that.
But
the Giants.
But they're saying no. He's got no permission. He's got to stay with the Brewers. He's out.
So what is his position right now with the Brewers?
He's general manager.
So and I'll be from what I've noticed in baseball, the trend over let's say the last 10 years is typically an organization who has a talent will not allow somebody to interview if the talent is interviewing for the same position. But if they're going for an increase or some kind of a promotion, they typically kind of let the person do that. So is the Brewers going to promote this guy, or are they just kind of giving that to the Mets?
I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah,
is that the Brewers become public enemy number 4?
Give it to us. We coming after you, Brew Crew. You suck
man!
Anyway.
All right. Yes. All right. Really quick, because I wanted to just touch on this real quick before we actually got started. But left in the playoffs: Braves, Dodgers, Astros, Red Sox. Is there any? This is like this is hate them all. But is there one team that you would say you would be more okay with winning the whole thing than any of the others?
Because it'll burn the Yankees' assholes.
And not but they're both cheaters. But so I don't know. Rodriguez, what do you? Who are you? I know you're not actively rooting for a team, but who are you most okay with winning the World Series?
Oh my God, no. I would never want the Braves to win a World Series. Never. The Braves could never win a World Series unless we get Freddie Freeman. Then maybe. But I wouldn't be upset with the Dodgers winning it. I could live with the Dodgers being the champs.
What do you, Keith? What do you?
I don't want the cheaters to get it.
No. So that's right. So those two are out. The Braves are out, and so that leaves the Dodgers. Keith, what did you think about the whole thing that surrounded our former boy Wilmer Flores on that stupid, ridiculous check swing called strike three? I think somebody put a poll in our group. Who would you rather see? Win, Wilmer Flores or the redheaded douche out in Los Angeles? Keith, what do you think about what's going on so far in the playoffs?
Well, two things. I want
that was not a swing, by the way.
I want to address the who do I want to see win it all. But to answer your question first, it was a load of shit. It was not a swing. It was close to a swing. It was garbage. It was a terrible call. It wasn't even a close call. It wasn't even like, I could see how. No. It was just a bad call.
The only way to say that it was an actual swing is to take the camera angle directly behind or just off to the right, so that it looks like he swung.
That one.
Yeah, it was
that
just
angle right there.
A really bad call. And it unfortunately supports a lot of the conspiracy theorists out there who think Vegas is controlling everything.
Vegas.
I would have loved to see. To me, I wanted to see a Giants Red Sox World Series. I thought that would have been great. I think the Giants deserved it. I do not want Los Angeles to win. They're becoming the Yankees of the National League West. I'm tired of their evil 90s Yankees of the National League West, and I'm getting really tired of them. I honestly want to see the Braves and Red Sox for the Red Sox win in the World Series, because I think that parallel between the Boston Braves and Atlanta Braves and Boston Red Sox would be a cool thing. And then the Red Sox would just kind of stomp them out. But that swing was not a swing. So don't know if they would have won, but the game would not have ended there. So nobody knows if they would have won. Baseball, baseball's like that. It's a game of inches. It's a game of plays, pitch by pitch.
It's a game of bad calls.
That one, it can be in this particular case, but that one swing just destroyed the whole entire Giants' chance of making it into the World Series.
Don't let it get down to that call. Don't let it get down to that call.
Right, we've got right, Rodriguez. But to me,
suck it up, Buttercup.
The whole kind of game, the whole series was kind of that way. It was down to each pitch, each call. It was a really good series. I have to say that series was so good, and it right down the drain with that one pitch.
I can't watch baseball.
It's tough to watch after your team is gone. But listen, we've got a very special guest on. He's coming on to extend a streak. We're bringing him in as like a pinch hitter in here somewhere along the lines
of the Culture Pro podcast.
We don't need no pinch hitter. Who's the pinch hitter? We don't need a pinch hitter.
It's our favorite fan of the team one of the teams that we don't like. So we're gonna bring on to extend his streak of, and he'll let us know exactly how many there are now. But here is the MVP of Pop Culture Pros certainly over the last 2 weeks for sure. But it's Timmy Tabala joining us. There he is. How many straight shows is this now on Pop Culture Pros?
It's quite a lot. Can you hear me, by the way? My headphones weren't working, so I'm not using them. This is my third straight week. I got to keep the streak alive. So I'm here for two reasons. One, to keep the streak alive. Two, because it's driving Terzio fucking crazy that I'm on the net right now. Ain't that right, Frank?
Tim will not shave his beard until he misses a show. So let's see what happens.
Okay. Exactly.
That was great.
It may be ZZ Top / Lou Gehrig by the time this is all over.
There he is. All right, so Timmy, you extend the streak I already know your answer here, but if you had to choose, I'm not going to ask you for the World Series. I know that's the Dodgers, but if you had to choose a team, you had to put money on a team to make it out of the American League Cheater Series, who would you go with? I know this is gut. This is gut wrenching.
It is.
I know how it is.
And unfortunately, I gotta say the Red Sox. Unfortunately, I don't know why. You know what? They make me sick because they shouldn't be. You know what it is? It's like, this is why I don't understand certain teams, like the Giants and certain teams like that. They shouldn't be as good as they are, and yet every year they don't go away. The Red Sox should be at the bottom of their rebuild, and yet every goddamn year, or they take a year off and then back in the playoffs. It's sickening to me. It really is. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to see the Red Sox. But I do like the Dodgers coming back to win this series, though. Just saying.
I can't have the Braves. I can't have it.
You know, I don't want them winning the World Series, but I do like the Braves winning the National League, and I'll tell you why. Because they're from our division. God. Two teams from our division in the last, what it would be, 3 years, have won the league. So everybody says our division is weak. I mean, you know, in 3 years.
But not us.
That's just giving them shit to talk about us here.
No, but then when we beat I'm a Met fan. We're gonna win it all next year. Come on, this is our year, baby. So listen, when we beat their asses next year, we can say
I need a
2 of the last 3 years we have won the championship, and we beat the teams that have won in 2 of the last. Well, it'll be 4 years because our year is next year.
I don't know what you're saying.
Our year is always next year. So if we win next
year,
that year sucks.
We win next year. 3 of the last 4 years will be National League East League champions. I mean, that's saying something, especially when you got a division like the West with the Giants.
That's saying we're the only assholes not doing it. Even the Marlins made the playoffs last year.
I'm gonna make up a word right now. Don't negatify my theory here.
And listen, I can vouch for Keith's made-up words. I can vouch for Keith's made-up words. They stick.
They do.
They stick.
So no negatification of my theories. Thank you.
That's all right.
Speaking of negatification, Timmy, we're gonna head and kick some people out of the team and see who we're gonna keep and who we're gonna go.
No,
so
you guys go do what you got to do. Stick to your propaganda. I'll move on. I just really wanted to piss Terzio off because here I am on the Met show and he's not.
It's like Vince.
Just saying.
Oh
Vince is
oh my God.
All right, Timmy.
All right, guys.
Amazing.
All right, buddy. All right, see you later.
Be good.
Tim,
right,
love you, bro. Take care, man.
All right, just for everybody that doesn't know who Timmy is, he's our favorite Yankee fan, and he does a lot of great stuff on the Pop Culture Pros network. So appreciate him here. Going back,
Pop Culture Pros.
It is. Going back real quick, Marcus Stroman, 9th in all of baseball, with his ERA of 3. All of baseball, not just the league. 3.02 ERA, 33 starts. And the poor guy 3.02 ERA, and his poor guy is 10-13. You got. There's too many examples like Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright was 3.05 ERA compared to our Marcus Stroman's 3.02, but he was 17-7. You know, it's
yeah. Marcus Stroman had no run support, dude.
No runs.
He had an inconsistent offense. He had 220 hitters thinking they're 290 hitters. That's what happened.
Yeah. And you know, you think of like all these other guys. You know, let's talking through the rotation. You know, you had Taijuan Walker, like you mentioned before. He fell apart in the second half. Was it because of that boneheaded move that he made, and he let it get to him?
He got fatigued. I think.
I think
he ran out of juice.
I think it's a lot. Yeah. I think it's both there. David Peterson, he ran out of gas, and then he got hurt. Tyler McGill's, we found out a lot about the 6'7", big, massive guy.
Ballsy dude, man. He's a competitor. I like him. He should definitely stick around, even if he goes to the bullpen. He's the perfect bullpen guy. He's bald.
What do you think,
I like him.
Keith? What about Joey Lucchese?
I liked him this year. I mean, to me, he's a 5th starter, spot starter, depending on the health of the rotation. But I didn't have issue with him. I'll be honest. I really didn't have issue with anybody in a starting rotation. Yes, there were ups and downs, but every single person that started rotation this year, of the many starters we had, they were gritty and grimy. They got out there and they did what they had to do, and including our most consistent pitcher in many years, aside from DeGrom, because he was hurt this year, but you got to put him to the side. Marcus Stroman was fantastic. Taijuan Walker, pretty damn consistent too. He had a little bit of a increase in his ERA, and he had some bad games during the middle of the season, towards the end a little bit, but still really consistent.
Producer Joe said he's a cheater.
Lucchesi kind of fits into that fold with me, where he is who he is. He's consistent in who he is, and you know what you're getting every time he's on that mound. Yeah. I like him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
he's not a star, but he's a spot filler, fifth starter.
There's a lot of pitching depth. If you take a lot of those guys and put them in AAA, that's a lot of depth that you have.
Right.
Okay? And you can keep those guys in down there, but you're also going to need a couple of guys, because if Carrasco comes back and he has a full spring training and he becomes the pitcher he was when he was with Cleveland, he's a number 2. If they re-sign Stroman, you got another number 2.
Yeah.
If Noah Syndergaard comes back, they re-sign him, you got another number 2.
Cookie had a real tough go.
Then you got Yaiwan. Then you got Yaiwan Walker. And Lucchesi, Tyler. You have the makings of a decent staff with a consistent offense. We would have won 20 more games easy.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
If we would have just averaged 4.5 runs a game.
Have the makings of a varsity athlete.
What happened?
Just a
little Sopranos stuff in there.
Oh, I got you now.
Hey, forget about it. All right. Well, all right. So we play the should they stay or should they go kind of a game. I think DeGrom, that's an easy one. Stroman, for me, Stroman's an easy one. And obviously we are not, all this stuff, it develops, right? We saw last year a trade could happen to free up space for this and this and that. This year, this offseason, there's all this, baseball contractual stuff that we got to get through first. But from a New York Mets perspective, this might be the first year where it's like every wallet is wide open. I don't care if we're blowing. He's already said it. He'll blow past the luxury tax. What is that luxury tax threshold after the collective bargaining agreement? A lot of stuff to go. So we'll take this as if we just have an unlimited amount of money when we're saying who should stay and who should go, because the money will work itself out. But for me, Stroman, does anybody disagree? Stroman's an easy. Did Stroman win over Producer Joe? Knock knock. Mm-hmm. He's got to think. He says I got to think about it a little bit. He's not completely sold. 3.02 ERA. He's not completely sold. Yeah.
No. He's too showy. He wears too much makeup. That's what it is.
All right. So what? Okay. So.
F you, Rodriguez. All right. And second of all, I apologized for Stroman so many times. Yes, Stroman has won over Producer Joe.
Terzio, stop. He's saying Stroman is trying to sell himself to the Yankees on the turlet.
That cannot happen. I'm sorry. On principle, you got to throw the Brinks truck at him if he's going to go to the Yankees. You cannot let him go to the Yankees. No, I am sorry.
No.
Or any of our NL East teams. Yep. None of that stuff.
Cohen, that is a major fail as an owner. You are going back to Wilpon territory if you allow him to go into the
Hold on. Can we bleep out the W word, Producer Joe? On the back end when this gets edited, bleep out that W word. Please, thank you.
Just saying. I'm sure there isn't anybody out there that wouldn't agree with me. And if you do disagree with me, you're probably wrong.
All right. Let's head to the bullpen here. Diaz obviously is going to stick around. What did you see enough of a decline in Lugo to say hit the bricks, Rodriguez? Or no?
He's coming back from an injury. I think he'll be fine.
Yes.
I think
same exact page as Rodriguez.
He'll be fine.
Okay, and then you got Trevor May, who's under contract. He's got a 2-year deal. What about Familia? I know this is a tough discussion, but is Familia worth bringing back?
He should go now.
He should go
now. Right now.
His contract is up, so it depends on the asking price. $10 million, no. Get him on the cheap. I'm okay with him staying.
Oh my God!
I know he said unlimited money, but
he's taking up a big goofy doofy spot with his big goofy Herman Munster looking head. He doesn't need to be on our team anymore. He has
if we can find somebody better, I'm all for it.
Yeah, pretty much everybody who doesn't give up clutch homers and loses games for us. Yeah, pretty much anybody else.
A lot of the games lost, you have to attribute to the fact that
you
the
know why I'm
offense
saying
sucked.
this.
Yes, this is
didn't suck when they hit a home run off of him.
A lot of the bullpen's lost games are attributed to the fact that our offense sucked.
That was your fault, Lindor.
You're constantly giving 1 and 2 run leads to the bullpen.
Which is what their job is supposed to do. They're supposed to hold
but not
the lead.
that much,
That's
Rodriguez.
The
and the offense's job is to cushion that lead. They never did it. This is
That's the point
we
that they
never tacked on.
The bullpen was so good that they held us in games. It was all pitching, defense, and a miracle hitting by Scrubby Dubbies that we stayed in the first place all that time, man. We didn't have an
109
offense.
days.
Our major guys were whipping up. They sucked. The whole
and
team.
It's like we're waiting. Oh, he's coming back from injury. This is the time it's going to click now. He's going to come out of the IL red hot. Just nothing. You got Miguel Castro who showed nice stuff. Brody, that was a good trade that he made on his way out the door. So I do like him. Keep him around. Aaron Loop is a must sign for me. Yeah, I'm not going to expect a 1 ERA. Brad Hand, they go hand in hand. What do you think about that? The Brad Hand thing. Remember, we were in on him. He wouldn't sign with us because he wanted to be a closer. Was a closer with the Nationals, gets traded, and then he sucked. And then he came to the Mets, and he was not awful.
He showed his flashes again,
but he had glimpses.
Yeah.
So do you bring him in like on a I don't know if he's gonna get a major league contract right off the bat. Maybe it's a minor league contract, and then you make the club. I don't know. Because the bullpen is stacked.
I would pick him over Familia. Over Familia.
Bullpen is so tough because the bullpen
cyclical.
Traditionally is so inconsistent that some guy is great and then he's not. It is so rare for a bullpen pitcher to be consistently awesome.
You know what's bullshit though, Keith? One freaking inning, Keith. The dude has to throw 1 inning like a kicker in football. I'm
just going by the stats, but you're right. I agree with you. No, I agree with you, but I'm just going by the stats.
I know it's amazing.
Yeah, you're right.
To me. You could do
just
100%
to be consistent
that whole game, about 1 inning, 100%, and you don't pitch for 2 or 3 days after that. 100% for that 1 inning, man.
Yeah, it's like that lucky scrub from the Yankees who closed for them, or the other lucky scrub for out in California. What was he on, the Padres or something? Hoff, whatever his name was. Those guys.
Hoffman.
Those Riviera from the Yankees. Yeah. But those guys,
lesser known guys.
Riviera, I gotta respect Rivera.
No, me too. I just love watching him blow the World Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. But it was such a and David Wright home run off of him. But it was such a rare thing to see those type of pitchers, and it still is in the bullpen. That's just my point. But you're right. It's just 1 inning. Like, what's the big deal? But apparently, it is a big deal because it's really rare to have that kind of consistency in the bullpen this day and age. It's just it's a hard free agency market because he was great, and then he could just suck for the next 5 years. Anyway,
that's what we are known for. That's what we're known. All right, let's what about somebody like Trevor Williams, who came in? He was in the trade with Javier Baez. He was solid. I mean, to be solid in 2021 moving forward, it's 5+ innings. That's what solid is these days.
He was in the minor leagues, right?
He was in the minor leagues at first, and then he came up and gave a couple of nice starts.
Keep him there.
In those 7-inning games, 3-4 innings. Yeah. So all right. So now moving in, and we're gonna get a deluge of just negativity here. I know, but so we start off at catcher, James McCann. He's not going anywhere. That's number one.
Not going anywhere.
He's signed. So
number two, yeah, he signed. We're not trading him. We got a guy. I'm not sure if you know about in the minors. That is a couple of years away, and you got James McCann who plays excellent defense. Don't pick out 1 or 2 plays throughout the season. Am I happy with his hitting? No, I'm not. I'm not particularly thrilled with a 235 he wound up. But if you can give me 250, some pop, and that defense that he provides all day long, I want you behind the plate. And by the way, he has a lot to do with the way that the rotation was handled this year. Well, he's a catcher. So Keith, we'll start off with you on this one. What do you think about it? Do you think he is? Do you think he was so awful that he should even be thought about being gone?
He's not what we expected him to be, but the way he called games and his defense behind the plate, I mean, he was no Buffalo with the glove, but
yeah.
The way he called and played behind the plate, I was okay with him, and he catches a lot of the flack because the rest of the lineup completely sucked for the most part. Not everyone, but for the most part. And it's not his fault that everybody else sucked. Really, truthfully, the catcher, if he calls a good game, he takes care of your pitchers, and he protects the plate, you got the guy you need behind the plate. So I am okay with him being on the team for another year. He's a definite stay for me.
Rodriguez?
Easy stay, dude. Easy stay. Solid defensive catcher. Remember, this was his first year of being the number 1 catcher, catching all those games. He hadn't done that before, so he had to get used to it. At the same time, start dealing with fatigue because as a catcher, and Keith knows, I'm a catcher also. I mean, it's really hard back there, man. You get really tired. So it's a tough thing. So this was his first year being a full-time catcher in the major leagues. He handled the staff well, as you can
switch
tell.
leagues.
So switch leagues, he has good pop, plays solid defense, has a cannon, right? I mean, seriously, the guy has a gun. He could throw people out easily. And he's only a stopgap, bro. We're waiting for the kid in the minors to come up. That's what he's here for. He signed a 3-year contract? 3-year
4
contract?
years. 4 years.
Oh, is it 4 years?
Was McCann 4 years? You sure? Okay. So 4 years. So in 4 years, this kid will be 22, 23, ready to come up to the majors.
Yeah. No, that's exactly.
There's a plan behind there, guys. So don't get all discouraged and all crazy.
Producer Joe says that's a mighty big if, Baldy. He's a lifetime 246 hitter. I don't know what everybody did. You guys think we were getting a 290, 310 hitter here?
Of course, they thought they were getting Piazza back.
I just wanted the guy that can block the damn ball behind the plate and doesn't catch every pitch from his one knee. Okay, and a guy, because Buffalo was terrible. The contrast between him and every other freaking catcher from defense was terrible. When he came in, it was such a breath of fresh air.
You want some good news?
It's a great combo with him and Nito.
I got great news for both of you and for the world out there.
Okay, what is it?
Wilson Ramos is available in free agency this offseason.
I like Wilson Ramos. I do as a person, but not as a.
He lives in Buckley, He lives down the street from.
Yeah, no, he seems like a good guy.
He's a really good guy, and he's had a lot of trial and tribulation in his life, and a lot of crazy stuff.
Did he get kidnapped?
He got kidnapped, and
he did
molested.
I don't know.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know if he was molested.
I don't know.
But they put those little fish up his penis, those little Amazon fish. Then they put them in the Amazon and let those little fish go up his penis.
Beads. I mean, I don't know what happened.
Right?
Baseball beads, but I like Wilson Ramos. I do, but he was not a great defensive catcher. He can hit.
No,
the dude can hit.
Okay, these are your options. Free agency catcher, Buster Posey, who's not going anywhere. He's 35 years old. He's Mr. Giant.
Like 95. Actually.
Mike Zunino, who's not good behind the plate. He hits like 212, 210, 190. Manny Pena, Tucker Barnhart, Christian Vasquez, who was good for a year with Boston and now he's not. Jan Gomes, 34. Stephen Vogt, 37 years old, 39 years old. Robert Perez, 33. Robinson Chirinos, 37. Who do you want? Who do you want?
McCann is definitely staying.
Like everybody. Who else would you want? The world.
Yeah, McCann is staying. That's the end of that.
All right, let's keep it moving here. I think I have no problem with bringing in Nito. Keeping Nito. Serviceable backup. Seemed like he took a step forward this year. And then
remember he
took over.
He was a succubus, man. He was taking out Lindor's energy.
Lindor.
So bad.
All right, we'll skip over Pete Alonso because nobody in their right mind is saying get rid of Pete Alonso. But I will stop at the backup first baseman, and that is Dom Smith. So this is for the last 3 or 4 years, our core has been kind of called like Conforto and Dom and Pete and Jeff McNeil and these guys. So now you start talking about and Nimmo to an extent, but now you start talking about Dom Smith and one of the key cogs in that core. And now we're starting to talk about, should he be gone? Should he stay around? Did he do? He fell off last year in a pretty significant way. Rodriguez, you make this tough decision for us.
It depends on what kind of pitching I can get for him. If I can get myself a bona fide 2 or 3, a guy who's going to give me 200 innings and win me about 10 to 15 games in that range, if I can get somebody like that for Dominic Smith will have to go. However, he's a luxury. He's fantastic to have because, anything happens to Big Pete, you can plug in Dominic Smith, and you know that given a length of time, he'll produce. The thing with Dominic Smith is he's really not an outfielder. I get it, and he'll do fine. He'll do an adequate job. But when you're playing out of position, man, it's always in the back of your head. There's always something nagging at you. He's a first baseman. Even if you bring the kid in the 8th and 9th inning, play him at first, let him get in a bat or two. That'll be better for him as a major league ball player than putting him in the outfield.
It's that Big D.
Oh, that would be Joe's little glitch.
Keith,
your little glitch is thinking that we could get a number 2 for Dom Smith.
Well. Also, I think a 200
Big D. You could get number 2 on the Big D, depending on what you're doing.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
What kind of number 2 he's talking about? What number 2 he thinks we're gonna get for Dom Smith?
There are such things as trade packages, Producer Joe. It's a package. It's a package deal.
It doesn't. If you're so limited that you can't think beyond a straight up deal, then you got a problem. On you, Producer Joe.
Keith, this is now you get into the leading with your brain or leading with your heart. This is a guy who has been a part of the mega roller coaster that has been the Mets over the last few years. The great times, the walk-off home run in the last game of the season, which fooled us into thinking that we were going to be great last year, and just didn't happen. So now this is one of the tough decisions. It's going to be a tough decision as we talk through with McNeil and some of these other guys too. What do you do with a Dom Smith?
We have control with Dom Smith until 2025, so it's a tricky thing, right? Because of that control, you have a little leverage in trade power, right? Yep. So you can get a number 2 on the Big D, if given that when you're trading him that there's 3 years of control. You can't just say I'm going to trade him for whatever. Not that I didn't say that's what you said, Rodriguez, but just adding to what you said is you cannot just trade him for whatever because he does have 3 years of control. He does have a lot of potential, and he showed what he can do. I think he should definitely stay. However, my annotation to that and everything else is you cannot be closed-minded to any potential deal or offers on the table.
I think that should be one of the themes of this offseason is, and I don't see Cohen coming in here doing this, especially with none of these guys are his. So, Cohen to come in here and have, somebody who has $16 billion doesn't necessarily make decisions with his heart. So that's it's a good thing for us, though we might have to say, when McNeil gets traded or Dom Smith gets traded.
We need a lot of changes here, and there's going to be a lot of moments because obviously what we have and what we've been doing is not working, and there's going to be a lot of pulling the Band-Aid this year because I don't think Cohen wants to be patient. I don't think he wants another collapse.
I think we could keep McNeil in the outfield. I think McNeil could stay in the outfield.
McNeil's very talented with the glove. I mean, I think
you can stay in the outfield
anywhere.
And, and if he turns out to be a slap hitter again, you keep the guy. If he doesn't stop playing golf, I'll cut him.
But that didn't even help. Like he didn't even become like this 250, 28 home run guy. He just became 250.
He had a bad year. Year.
The whole team did.
I mean, it can happen to anybody. The whole team did. That's why we're talking about getting rid of our favorite guys, right?
Aside from Alonso and Baez, you can't count him because he came late. So aside from Alonso, who else really had a good year?
Lindor still hit 20 home runs.
Yeah, he came on strong second half.
The second half, but as a whole, the year was probably below what I would expect from him. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
not probably.
His second half, if he can maintain somewhere around that level, great. 260, 270, 30 plus home runs.
I mean, it's natural. It's coming from a different league. That it's happened to the best.
Lindor needs to hit 300.
A lot of people don't agree, but I'm gonna go out and say that his glove wasn't up to par this year either. He made a lot of weird faux pas out there.
Few errors, yeah.
That a person of his.
But he also saved a lot of runs.
Making.
Yeah, but him and Baez up the middle.
Could save more.
Him and Baez up the middle could be dead.
All right, so let's move on to Javi Baez. Obviously, he did really well after he came to the Mets. He cut his swing and miss down from like 40 some stupid percentage down into the top 20, 28%. That's a huge reduction, and you saw his average lifted up into the 260s. You give me 260, 30, and 100. Jesus Christ.
And that defense,
the defense, and the hustle, and the
style.
He's gonna get himself run out of certain situations, but just that stunt that he pulled with the Cubs when he ran back home, and I don't know what it is, but maybe it's I don't know, but maybe it's.
He just puts a spell on it. Slid on the outside and reaches.
No. He hit a grounder and he got in a rundown. The only guy smart enough to get into a rundown between home and first, and the guy scored, and then Baez wound up being safe at first. And this is when he was still with the Cubs, and it was like a week or so prior. So you get that kind of stuff, and then you get the kind of stuff with the sweeping, which I'm okay with. But how many years? How many years are you guys okay going with for a Baez, Keith? I know you like your short contracts.
Yeah, I'm not into the whole 10-year thing, right? Because the whole 10-year thing, even it bugs me, the whole 10-year contract.
Well, so how much? So what are you comfortable with?
So let's look at the facts right now, right? Javier Baez is what, 28, 7 years.
Okay,
I mean, that's a lot. To me, that's I don't normally say 7 years, but for a player of his age and talent, 7 years would be great. I know
Rodriguez, what do you think?
For me.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah,
so we're somewhere between 5 and 7.
He'll be 35 by then. He'll be an aging infielder.
And we'll have 2 of those.
33, and then we'll give him. Then we'll have 2 of those. Give him year by year. He'll get 5 years with Lindor to try to win a championship. And those 2 guys for 5 years, let me tell you, that's going to be some serious defense if they stay together.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
The short period we had him watching them 2 together was a ton of fun this year.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want this guy from Houston who's saying that he, dropping hints that he's okay when he wants to play with the Yankees. He didn't say, He likes to, or not the Yankees, New York.
What shade of blue or whatever the hell he said.
He wants to wear pinstripes.
Pinstripes. I didn't say black, orange, and blue. We'll see. All those guys, that's that tight knit, and then you got Story out there. You got so many options out there. But then you look internally here, and again, we'll DH and all that stuff aside. One of the guys who plays second base or third base or left field or right field is Jeff McNeil. So this is another guy that has been part of the core. He's been great up until this year. Last year he got off to a so-so start and then turned it on and hit well for the rest of the year in the shortened season. This year there was out of everybody in the lineup, and including Conforto and Lindor and all these guys, he felt the most out of whack. Like he never even put together like a 7 or 8 game stretch. It felt like to me, where even Conforto did something like that. But so Rodriguez, you always talk about the golf and that stuff. How much of a leash do you give somebody like Mike McNeil when you got, and we'll probably talk about some of the free agents out, not on our team next week, but with some potential decent guys out there on the free agent market, how do you say, okay, this guy has hit 30 home runs a year and bat 270 or 260. McNeil is fully capable of hitting 320 and driving in a shit ton of runs while keeping the home runs down, and going to be much cheaper. That's what our new GM has to think about.
If it's financial, I mean, people do have to think about the financial side of it, because that's why I would keep JD at third base, JD Davis at third base, is because financially it makes sense. You're able to plug a hole with a good enough hitter. He has people around him that'll make him better, and you save a ton of money. But with McNeil, you kind of would do the same thing. However, McNeil's a free swinger, okay? He believes he can hit any pitch thrown anywhere around that plate, okay? Just like Daniel Murphy, who should, choke on his own vomit. He was a good hitter though, but he could actually do it. McNeil can't. You saw that this year. He was swinging here, he was swinging there, he was swinging everywhere. I still like the theory that the hitting coaches sucked and they didn't have a guy prepared. But yeah, look at that. That's what he looked like the whole year at the plate. Ooh,
he did.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna hit?
And after every at bat, he was getting all flustered. I remember there was some, there was some Greg Jeffries talk about how he was reacting.
Why you think Lindor jacked him up? Why you think Lindor jacked him up? You think Lindor's gonna let him punk him? He jacked him up real quick. Shut up.
He knocked him goofy, and he can't hit anymore.
And I wish that was the case, but I like McNeil though. I would keep him if we had to as an outfielder. If he starts, trying to be a hitter again and not a power guy.
Yeah, Keith, what are you doing with McNeil?
He's a definite stay for me. I mean, he had a really bad year this year in terms of his bat, but I think if you take his body of work has shown that he's better than this year. You got to give him another shot to prove that he is not the player of this year, but the players of the previous years.
Dun dun dun. Terzio is asking where the Morning Wood is at. We'll double up on Morning Wood next.
So if the Phillies offer you a trade, if the Phillies want McNeil and they're offering to give you Harper, but they want McNeil and a couple other scrubs, I don't even care. But if McNeil's got to go and you're giving you Harper, do you still give him a chance?
I say you, Roger. I say you.
That makes me so sad.
I say you never. I say you never leave any offers off the table.
That means you would trade him
for Harper. Of course, I'd be crazy to say no.
And you know what would happen, right? Bryce, he'll bat 218. We'll be booing him.
218, and then he'd pull an ass muscle and be out for 3 years.
He'll pull a tendon in his feet, and he'll never be able to run again.
You
remember? Have to come to the plate in a wheelchair.
Fwakata, remember in the cafeteria that time after Bruce, I yelled across the cafeteria, Bruce pulled a freaking ass muscle. Yeah, that's kind of what would happen. But, on paper, you can't say no to that deal. You'd be crazy to say no to that deal.
I take a 25 home run, 80 RBI guy over McNeil right now. I would take somebody like that. Even though I think
nobody's going to give you that for him. So
could be that guy.
He could be, and his complete
not
body
a trade,
of work
not a trade. I'm saying I would replace him with somebody like that.
Oh, like a trade,
right?
Yeah,
but, or a free agent,
yeah,
whatever.
But so McNeil's body of work shows that he can be something else. So I would say, if there isn't a better deal on the table or opportunity such as free agency, you got to give him another year.
Send him to Tampa.
Jeez, Terzio, you make a good good point there, talking about Dom Smith, all this stuff. This is domino. All this, we got to wait for this to fall for that to happen, and it's just going to continue on. But of course, before any of this stuff happens, we need to get a brand new collective bargaining agreement on the table, and we'll talk that in the coming weeks of what the players' side wants versus the owners. Do they want that runner on second base to stay forever? Do they want the DH? Never. Do they want this? Do they want that? Rope out umpire. A lot of stuff is going to be on the table come this offseason. And by the way, it is freaking me out because I don't want any issues with baseball. They've got enough stuff going on right now.
94.
Freaking out. What are you freaking out? Relax.
Because these two sides hate each other. They almost couldn't agree on having a season last year.
Oh, what can happen? The Mets don't win another championship.
Now listen, we can
Rodriguez, listen, Rodriguez. You say that now, but come March, if there's no spring training going on, Rodriguez is going to start shaking. He'll lose his mind.
Yeah, no, because especially over the last 2 years, we don't need any more crap, please. But the bright side of it is maybe, Farace, seriously, get with your players' association and tell them to cut it out.
Yeah, no set. The 7-inning games, all this stuff's going to be on the table, and listen, they're talking about every single day. They're talking about after every one of these playoff games that the kids on the East Coast, they can't see any of this stuff because it ends at midnight. And the most exciting parts of these games are walk-off home runs and whatnot that are happening in the ninth inning are happening after midnight because of the 8 o'clock start times.
I started liking the 7-inning games because the Mets started winning them.
They did fare well in 7-inning games this year.
I started really liking it, and really, truthfully, there's no other reason for me to like them.
Our pitching is set for that, Our pitching is set for 7 innings.
Right. Sure is.
So, theoretically, I don't like 7-inning doubleheaders.
Producer Joe says he likes it now.
How well the Mets perform.
I like 7-inning
I love it. I'm all for it. Listen, the doubleheaders they can be atrocious. Two 9-inning games.
Anything for a win, Keith.
But yeah, let's go. I'll take this. But that man on second crap, that needs to go. We're not literally.
It should never.
Awful.
Be done again.
That is awful. Thank God.
I'm glad they decided not to do it for the playoff. Yeah, exactly. We'll get through a couple more players here, and then we'll escort ourselves out, and then we'll continue this next week.
Are we gonna hit a hot button? Where you go next, Froch? Let me hear.
I'm sticking with third base for a second because you got a few different options here. So you got and one was meant to be a backup this year. I don't know what Cohen thinks about J.D. Davis. J.D. Davis certainly fell out of favor with Rojas for whatever the reason was. He doesn't like.
I know the reason.
290 hit. Was it because he so-called showed up Pete Alonso on a play? That's what the rumor mill was.
I didn't take that he showed up Pete Alonso. No. That's ridiculous. Do you really think Rojas was that petty?
But you want to win a game. You got to. This guy's 290.
Rojas.
He got up to the hot start.
Rookie mistakes. It's
true. He was hurt. Remember?
He was hurt, but then he was back. Yeah. No. Yeah.
He wasn't back.
But then
he just got operated.
Stop it.
Yeah. He just got operated.
Now, yes. Yeah.
But because he was hurt.
Stop
right. Yeah, but he was hitting, and then he was getting 2-3 at bats if it lasted past the seventh inning. Fine, whatever. But his 290 hitting ass should have been out there. But
get your mind out of the gutter, Farace.
You shut your mouth. All right. So Rodriguez would like to keep J.D. Davis around. I would like to keep J.D. Davis around because I think he's a solid hitter, and I think that when he came back,
money,
right?
Spend the money on pitching.
Well,
instead of
yes.
third base.
But we'll get into some of the outside the team free agents next week because then we can play a little chess next week. And what about somebody like Jonathan VR? I don't know where the Mets would have been this year without Jonathan VR, which is
backup.
A sad statement to make, right? But definitely a backup if he'll take it. Maybe he played well enough to get a starting job somewhere.
Tell him not to get crazy. Don't get all crazy about yourself.
See, this is what we talked about. The replace Mets.
A team like Baltimore would hire him for a starting job, but he should definitely stay.
He was with Baltimore, I think.
Oh my God, he went to Baltimore. Yeah. What did Baltimore finish? Like 60 games out of first place.
Well, I think we have an option on him, so it's really up to us. So I would grab that option. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
The backup for sure.
All right, and then we'll go. We'll end this on. No, we're gonna pick this up. This is gonna be how we start next week because this is there's controversy surrounding this one, and we'll pick it up as we start next week, and we'll start it off with Michael Conforto next week, and then we'll head into some of the free agents that are out there. Maybe we like them more than some of the options that we just talked about today. Today was more about is there a trade out there on the horizon that we can make, but next week, if there is a free agency period. That's what we're going to talk about. So, Mr. Keith, do you potentially have a Fwakata for us this week? And Terzio, I don't know, the way New York football is going, there's always hockey. The Rangers haven't won a game. The Islanders haven't won a game. This is just the Knicks are going to be the savior of New York sports this year.
I can watch basketball
again. That's frightening, but it's a very. I don't know. I don't necessarily have a Fwakata. I would say Fwakata, the cheating Astros, but really the Boston Red Sox are the cheating Boston Red Sox too. So
cheaters too.
And they brought back their cheating manager.
I know.
Right. So where do I go with this Fwakata? Do I keep it Mets centric? And if I do keep it Mets centric, where do I go with it? So I'm just going to say...
Wait. I want to say something before you do. I don't know if it's important enough for it to be a Fwakata, but the I think this might be a new thing now. The 2021 New York Mets Jed Lowry Award goes to Jose Martinez. Remember we signed him?
We signed him to play first base.
We signed him to play first base, and the outfield, he hurt his knee in spring training, was coming back, and never played, not even one at bat. He beat Jed Lowry. Lowry had 8 at bats with us.
What did we sign? How much did we sign him for?
I think I might have. That's what I'm saying. It's not important. It's just a silly thing that I wanted to mention. I think they brought him in a minor league deal.
Dude, he made a lot more money than us.
I'm looking at Baseball Reference. He's not a free agent until 2023.
What do you mean?
So we're stuck with him for another year.
No, there's no. We signed him to a 2-year deal.
Free. I'm looking at Jose Martinez.
Okay,
right
you do your Fwakata, and I'll look this up.
He's a free agent in 2023, so we signed him to a 2-year deal.
No, we didn't. Why did we do that?
Because
wait, it's 2 years, $3.2 million. Okay, I can live with that. All right.
So I'm gonna Fwakata, and this is really like
yes.
This is really like, what do they say? Cutting off your nose in spite of your face. I'm gonna Fwakata a whole base of Met fans out there, because everybody is just driving me crazy. It's to the point where I just don't pay attention anymore online. Listen, guys, we sucked last year. So a lot of people that you love so much, they're going to go because we need to change. We need to win. And you don't win by doing the same thing every year. So Fwakata to all you Met fans who are scared of change. There's going to be a lot of that this year. So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelt and get ready for the ride. That's all I got to say.
I like it.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Well, listen, I kind of agree with Keith in his sentiment to some Met fans. You're going to have to be realistic and understand that we're going to lose a lot of these hometown favorites, whether they got cute nicknames or they look, or they're ugly, or they suck, or they walk funny, or they got
they had
funky
one
color
moment
hair.
that they did so good 3 years ago. Just
Yeah,
get over it.
and all that nonsense. It's done and over with, man. They got rid of the whole coaching staff, pretty much. It's a brand new team, and they're gonna try and win. They have to try and win because that guy Cohen, he's not taking losses. He's not gonna take them well. You kind of tell that he's a Met fan like us, and he's gonna start losing his mind pretty soon when they start losing for no reason. Like he even called them out. He called them out. He said, "How can you have professional hitters not try to be professional hitters?" Which is what I've been saying all year. We've been saying it here all year. Ta-da! So anyway, next week we're going to talk about everything you guys need to know about the Mets. Don't worry about it. Just call
Especially
in,
some of those favorites.
Run streak through the back of Keith's Stadium. Whatever you want to do. Just
we're going streaking.
Be here next week. Maybe Keith will give you a love Fwakata. Keith, maybe you might have a love Fwakata once in a while instead of a. Is that
like a love Fwakata number 9?
Love Fwakata number 9, baby.
Number
Give
9.
It to them. Give him your sexy.
Potion number 9.
Sexy talk.
Love Fwakata.
Give him a sexy talk. A little sexy
now
talk.
Beatles White Album number 9.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, so I'll give you some love on my Fwakata.
Some lovin'.
I'm gonna wink at you while I do it. Fwakata.
Don't do that. Producer Joe, any closing remarks here?
Nah.
No. All right. Well, that was very productive.
Thought about it. Nah.
Wow. You got any comments in the season this year? Sure. Wow.
Terzio said Jed Lowry award goes to his ex-wife this year. 1-800 the number to call in. 1-800-ex-wife. That's what I should make the number to call in to interact. 1-800-ex-wife.
There you go. Finally, Terzio.
She takes her calls. Yeah, she's gonna. The ex-wife takes the calls.
How about this? I'm going to challenge
things.
in the offseason. I want to challenge. I don't know if you guys agree. If you do, please let me know.
Is this going to like a celebrity boxing match?
No, I want to challenge Frank that we could do celebrity boxing match. We could do claymation. Frank to join us on air. We send him the link. He inboxes us. We send him a link, and he drops on for like a 5-minute segment of just chatting with us. You're on the show all the time, Frank. Do it, baby.
Do it. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Frank says yes, he's up to the challenge.
Cool.
That'll do it for us this week. We appreciate you guys watching. We went through all this stuff about who may or may not be here. We played GM from a trade standpoint. Next week, we're going to talk about some more of the free agency dream scenarios, maybe. Maybe Correa at third, Lindor at short, and Baez at second. Huh? That's a possibility out there. This guy wants to spend money, blow past any luxury tax. That's what we want. For us, a luxury, a World Series championship, a luxury, please. Please.
I will get a Mets tattoo with a Puerto Rican flag if we get those 3 guys and we win.
Who's playing third? Who's playing third, real quick?
Correa.
In our dream scenario, or
is he willing to?
Yeah, he wants to wear pinstripes. He didn't say.
Yeah, just not color. He's stupid. First of all, Correa, you're stupid. Don't give us that bullshit that you're still in the playoffs. Focus on that. Dwayne Wade once said he was intrigued by a Knicks free agent offer, and then the next day or 2 days later, here come the big 3 down in Miami. Correa, take your little stupid pinstripe nonsense and
why is he so angry? Why are you so angry?
Go
all of a sudden?
Go to the fucking Mariners.
You know, because he's thinking that Correa.
Well, he's being an asshole. What is he doing? I'm tired of these players out there saying, "Yeah, the Mets." Shut up and go wherever you want to go.
Correa's using Cohen's wallet to up his game inside free agency. But if we get him, I think Correa should be at second because I think Baez has a cannon of an arm. I could imagine him at third base.
Listen, can I just say, if we get Correa, this is I understand we're not in it for the likes. That would be one of the most unlikable band of Mets, which I'm fine. Just win a World Series.
They didn't like it in '86 either, right?
Yeah.
I would
What
just like to
happened
see
then?
the big white boy first join the
You
three
like
Boricuas and throw down
I
with
love
people in the other dugout. I'm down with that.
Who's that?
Isn't Correa Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
so
Yeah.
the
I'm
white
saying
boy?
the big white Pete Alonso. What do
Pete
you mean?
Alonso.
No, Alonso's a Spaniard, dude. He's
Really?
Latino. Yeah,
Looks
you
like-
didn't
looks
know
like
that?
No, he looks like a big white dude. I guess I didn't know
So do
that.
you.
This is also true.
All right. On that note, we will put a big old blue and orange ribbon on this bad boy, and we'll come back at you next week to talk about some free agency stuff. Producer Joe's going to get us out of here. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you guys next week and keep you updated in the group. Peace out, everybody. Boom.
Put up the box.